Hey guys, Katie Krause here with Clever News, joined by my lovely co-host, Deidre Behar.
Hi.
And today we are so excited. We have one of the stars of our favorite show, Revenge. Christa B. Allen is here.
Yay.
We're so excited right now. We have to just jump right into it. Revenge, last night's episode was crazy. A lot of new information for Charlotte Grayson to handle, so kind of talk to us about that.
Yeah, so she heard directly from the horse's mouth, as it were, right, that Conrad is not her daddy.
No.
Crazy. You know, it seems that every time the Graysons have a family dinner, something goes terribly, horribly wrong.
It's true. Very dramatic dinners for that family.
Maybe they need to start eating out or something.
Right?
Nothing at home.
Yeah.
So Jack basically dropped the bombshell, and then Conrad had to explain himself.
So how is Charlotte going to handle that news going forward, would you say? Does she act out? Does she take it well?
She gets pretty emotional about it and handles it in not the most favorable way, I'd say.
We saw her drinking.
She was drinking.
Last night.
She was drinking. But there has never really been any indication that her parents disapprove of that. I know it's common practice in a lot of families when you're with your parents, you know, to have maybe a glass of wine at dinner or something. So it seems like that might be kind of commonplace for the Grayson family. I'm not sure, but that's just sort of how we've played it. But now it gets much more serious than that. And actually it has something to do with Jack.
Oh, really? And what about your relationship with Declan? What will it be affected, or?
There's definitely going to be some trouble in paradise as far as that is concerned, because Charlotte is dealing with her world crumbling around her, and she needs to lean on this guy, and so it'll depend really on how Declan handles it.
Well, speaking of Declan, the amazing Connor Paolo, I know something about the show that people love is seeing how your relationship sort of plays out. I want to know, though, on a personal level, did you know him before you started shooting? Because you guys have such amazing chemistry. It seems like you've been friends for a while.
No, we didn't know each other prior to shooting. In fact, we met in the transpo van on the way to our first table read.
No way.
I turned around, I'm like, who are you? And he's like, I'm playing Declan. I'm like, oh, I'm playing Charlotte. Nice to meet you. So we were in North Carolina at the time. And yeah, we just kind of hit it off. But it seems to be that way with the entire cast. Literally some of the best people they've ever worked with. And it's crazy because everyone comes from a different place. You know, Nick is from New Mexico, and then we've got a couple Londoners on board, and Emily's from Canada. I think Henry is as well. Not sure on that. So we all kind of come from different places geographically and in our lives, and we bring so much to the circle. But it's just amazing how we all get along so well. I love these people.
You were photographed with Ashley actually at the Vow premiere last week. Did you guys all hang out outside of work a lot, or?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And it's great because we're all sort of going through the same things, and we get each other, and we're on similar schedules and stuff, so it makes for a good environment. Awesome. We went out the other night. It was like a group of 20 of us, you know, like 10 in the cast, and then everybody's friends and families, boyfriends, girlfriends, what have you. We went out, and it was just like, that's the best feeling.
When you guys all get along and have fun.
Yeah, and it's a bunch of people who are genuinely close, not just acquaintances or coworkers, but people that you love and hang out with individually as well as in a group.
So 20 people, are we talking like mission to go do karaoke in Koreatown? What did you guys do?
No, we went out, it was a place on Hollywood Boulevard? Vine? I think on Vine, yeah. And we just went out dancing.
Oh, fun. Super fun.
Yeah.
Well, going back to Revenge a little bit, we know you're not so happy with your mother, Victoria, on the show, and now with this dad bombshell. Can we see you maybe striking up an ally with Emily?
You know, that has been a topic of question, and I think it would pretty much make sense.
Uh-huh. I mean, you've always wanted a sister, right?
I've always wanted a sister. Charlotte's always wanted a sister, and she has some things to straighten out with her family too. So the thing is, we have different issues with the Grayson family, obviously. Charlotte's is more of feeling neglected, and Emily's is literally they destroyed her life.
Right.
So if the two characters were to pair up, it would be interesting to see how they go about that revenge.
Next week is a really big episode, especially in Daniel Grayson's case. Do we know if he is going to survive, or, I mean, what's going on with that? I think a lot of viewers would be quite disappointed if not.
Well, and that's the big question. All you see is this body, and it's a man of average stature with brown hair. And there are so many people it could be, and that's the thing.
Very ambiguous.
we
need answers.
Yeah,
answers.
we lose somebody.
So somebody, but not necessarily.
Yeah. And
Daniel.
I know people are going to be struck by it. So
Will we ever find out if Emily is she is Amanda, but will you guys, the rest of the cast?
I feel like we must, right? Nothing seems to be secret in the Hamptons.
Right. Well, I feel like Jack is starting to know, trying to figure it out, kind of. So
Yeah, and Declan's his brother, and then, and Victoria knows.
she knows something. Because
She
we
know
see
that?
we see at the very end of the last episode that her little hiding, her safe spot where she keeps all that information has been opened,
Yeah.
and there's a wedding invitation. So what does that mean?
But it's like, yeah, I imagine it'll come out at some point.
Okay.
These questions
Something-
have to be tricky for you,
Something
right?
to look forward to.
Yeah. Well, it's like sometimes I don't know, and then if I do know, it's like, how much can I reveal?
Okay, so your character on the show has to go through so many emotional ups, downs, twists, and turns, the whole nine. I want to know, though, I always personally think about the actor before they're on camera, the whole makeup prep scene when you're in your trailer. Are you Christa, hanging out, chatting on your cell phone, or are you, in the zone, character, thinking about what you're about to go act out?
I think many actors would agree with me that a way that works really well is to prep as much as you can for a scene while you're at home alone in solitude and peace and quiet. And then when you get to set, you can't be thinking about all the prep you did.
So you go into it relaxed, and you're not constantly thinking, what's my next line? You're more just
I think that's
kinda-
the only way to do it. I remember I learned that lesson when I was quite young by watching somebody in a scene in an acting class, and they were eating chips or something, or Cheetos, and they dropped one and just tried to ignore it and kept going with the scene. And I remember the critique afterwards was, why didn't you pick up the Cheez-It? If you were having a conversation with somebody and you dropped something,
pick it up.
you would pick it up.
And speaking of acting when you were much younger, you've actually played Jennifer Garner's younger self twice.
Not once.
I
Twice,
mean,
people.
Twice.
How cool is that? You were the go-to for Jennifer Garner in a young version.
Yeah. Jen, if you need anyone,
Yeah.
to your movie.
Make it 3 times, 4 times,
Third
why
time's
not?
a charm, right? It's amazing. Jennifer is a wonderful woman and a terrific actress, and I'd love to follow in her footsteps and her career path, and grow up to someday be the woman that she is. So
Well, you guys do look a lot alike.
Yeah.
Do
Do
you
we?
hear that a lot?
I hear that one. I hear Emma Watson sometimes.
I can see that.
I hear, oh my God, I hear everyone. Anna Paquin. I've heard Hilary Swank all the time.
I can see that. You
Lots
should
of
play
different
a
people.
younger version of her, maybe.
Totally.
Throwing it out there.
Yeah.
Do
okay?
a little Boys Don't Cry.
Yeah, right?
That'd be fun.
Working with Jennifer Garner, though, did she ever pull you aside in between takes and maybe say, here's a great piece of advice, do what you want with it, but I think you might really benefit from learning this? Did she share anything like that with you?
Jen was a person who, for her, acting is really, it's just a job. And that's the way I feel like it should be. You should have your heart in it, but it shouldn't consume
Your whole life.
Yeah. I've seen people get completely wrapped up in it and lost and kind of lose their soul a little bit. So she's definitely not one of those people.
Now, I know you're one girl of 8 boys in your real family. I need to know, because you've got all these steamy scenes. do you get like phone calls from Big Brother saying, "Yo, you and Connor, that made me a little
Simmer
uncomfortable."
down.
Yeah, tone it down a little.
It's the same response every time, especially my big brother Tyler. Christa, if I ever meet that kid, I'm gonna kick his butt.
And then you say,
No,
"Look,
you're
it's just a
not.
job."
Yeah, it's acting. It's a scene. And of course, Connor's an amazing guy. And he's got. It's fine. Everything's fine.
Growing up, were they overprotective of you when you were like in your teens, or?
Oh, completely. My parents printed out this, or inherited from somewhere. I don't know where they got it actually, but it's an application to date my daughter.
Oh my gosh.
Stop.
Google it. It's a real thing.
Is this like extensive with like background
It's
checks?
like 10 pages long,
Oh my
including
gosh.
essay questions. And
Wait, that is
asks for your
amazing.
social security and all that. It's so in detail.
Well, before we wrap, why should we tune in to next week's episode? Sort of give us the rundown.
I mean, if you've never seen an episode before, if you've seen every episode 5 times, you've got to see episode 15. Things are finally revealed from day 1, from episode 1. We've been setting it up for months now,
Yeah.
and you finally get to see who the body on the beach is.
Thank you so much for being here.
Yes, thank you.
It was great to talk to you, and we wish you luck with your career, and we can't wait to continue watching Revenge.
Thank you.